I just picked up yesterday that they actually now have a preemptive defense that they, building into their system, which is wonderful, which means that you're still going to be looking for the guy who looks like he's going to be a bad guy before he gets to your house. And I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely great. Keep doing that. That's one layer. We still need to get to a place where only what is good and clearly identified as good and invited by me comes to my house. And then, sure, have that additional layer for that, the global psych profile of all humans, so that before you even invite them to your house, that's another layer of saying, do I allow him in or not? Right?
Right. Francois, looking ahead from where we are right now, what would be a way that you could think of that we can inspire the next generation to continue to be on the bleeding edge of taking a defensive approach, and then not only to develop it better and faster, but then to also help with the adoption of those security postures?
Well, first of all, the way that you can ensure adoption of good security posture, the only way that you can ensure it is by people actually, unfortunately, feeling the pain of not doing that. And then hopefully there are technologies that can take that and make it as convenient as possible, because we're dealing with this problem when it comes to security. We're dealing with convenience and you're dealing with security, and then practicality is your slider that sits in between it, right? So make it as convenient as possible for end users to be secure and create technologies that are secure by design. If I rely on my parents to not be scammed, it's kind of not fair towards them. They don't think like bad guys. They trust everyone. They can't imagine what these scammers are doing and that they would be as heartless as they are nowadays. So there needs to be safeguards in place that allows them to still be human and not let the technology harm them. And the same is true for a younger generation. We're not just talking about cyber threats when we're talking about a younger generation. We're talking about how engaging with technology shapes the development of your brain. And so there's a lot, I think, there to be done. And one of the biggest issues is that there aren't enough tools placed in the hands for those who are responsible for protecting those young minds to actually protect them. I'm talking, children at risk or school boards and so forth. That those tools weren't necessarily in the hands of defenders, but those tools exist now, right? So I'm not sure if I'm fully answering your question. There's multiple layers, I think, to that.
Francois, you are clearly a gifted communicator. And in the area of appealing to the next generation, there's been many podcasts that have actually successfully engaged an audience that wants to be a red teamer. But we haven't had the same level of excitement for blue teamers, the defenders. How can we fix that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, red teaming is part of being a defender, right? It's always exciting to hear about how you could break someone's stuff or how you could get away with it. I think the reality is that people that actually has this sheepdog mentality that can protect the sheep, it's not everyone that's like that, Defenders have a different mentality. They put other people before themselves. They care about other people. They care about consequences to other people. And I think if we want more people in that realm, then that's the aspect in human nature that I believe that needs to be awakened, is to see the value of protecting and being selfless almost with it in your application of technology. And don't get me wrong. I mean, the idea of defending and being better than the bad guys, that is awesome,
Would it be fair to say?
That's thrilling.
Would it be fair to say that if you are a good red teamer, you can now take the next session and apply the defenses so that your own red teaming skills would fail? Would that be like an upgrade to go from red teaming to blue teaming? No offense to the really good red teamers out there, but is that an appropriate way to look at it?
I think that we should put that to the red teamers. So I want to be careful not to create, because in a way you're trying to break this down. But the more you're talking about sexes, the more you're creating a divide.
Fair enough. Okay, so we're going to scrap that.
So I think let's not do that. But you come to that conclusion, and then I can share. Okay. I think I've got something to share. Yeah. Okay, go for it.
So I think if I was a really good red teamer, I might find it appealing to now say, how can I apply my red teaming skills from a defensive posture so that my own red teaming skills couldn't beat the defender?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a good defender is also a red teamer in his mind, because you have to think, what is the red teamer going to be doing? So yes, I absolutely believe that. And it's something that I actually witnessed in my son. He started specifically on the red team side, and he was so much fun to see what he could break of what other people built. And then he got to this place where he say, hold on, I want to build something that's not breakable. And that was almost like a next step for him. Look, we always need both sides, and you always need that mentality that is fully focused on how can I mess with people's stuff to break it and make it do what it wasn't intended to do. And then you need the other side as well that say, how do I build something that doesn't break when it gets messed with? Mess with it, break it. How do we make sure that never, ever happens again, and learn from that so that the next iteration foundationally becomes not breakable, right?
Right on. Agreed, 100%. Okay, there we go. So those of you who want to be challenged, just see if you can defend your own red teaming skills. That's a great way to move forward.